In the frozen silence of prehistoric Siberia, where winter never truly ended, there once lived a people whose existence modern science still struggles to explain. They left behind no carvings, no temples, no writing, nothing except a scattered trail of perfectly polished bone lenses. These are small discs, smooth as glass, each shaped with a precision that seems impossible for a Paleolithic society. When archaeologists first found them buried in the permafrost back in the 1960s, they dismissed them as simple ornaments or jewelry. But then one researcher, out of sheer curiosity, lifted a disc to his eye and gazed across the vast, empty tundra. Suddenly, the world sharpened. Distant lines snapped into focus. Light curved and concentrated. It was a primitive form of magnification, clear, undeniable, and intentional. That single moment opened one of the most unsettling mysteries in all of human history. No one knows this tribe's real name. Today, we call them the Bone Carvers of Siberia, or sometimes the Optic clan. They are a people lost to time, long before the first known civilizations ever emerged. Long before Egypt raised a single pyramid. They existed between 10 and 14,000 years ago in a world still swallowed by ice. Mammoths roamed the land, and for months at a time, the northern sky was filled with unbroken darkness. The cold was a constant, lethal threat. And yet, this forgotten people somehow mastered a craft so advanced that it resembles the dawn of optical engineering. Their lenses made from reindeer bone, mammoth ivory, and polished horn simply should not exist. Creating them requires a sophisticated understanding of curvature, a mastery of fine abrasion, and days of deliberate, patient polishing. It requires enough knowledge to shape bone in a way that bends light, rather than scatters it. Modern hunters in Siberia, using only primitive tools, cannot replicate their craftsmanship. So the question hangs in the air, whispered at archaeological conferences, but rarely spoken of publicly. How did an Ice Age tribe develop early optics? The mystery only deepened in the 1980s, when a Russian team discovered a burial site near the Yana River. Inside the grave of what appeared to be a tribal elder, they found not one, but 3 identical bone lenses, each calibrated with near-perfect symmetry. Lying next to them was a carved wooden frame, what might be the first known goggle in human history. It wasn't for protection against snow blindness, but for focusing light, for seeing farther. But what were they looking at? Distant herds for hunting? Signals from other tribes? Or something else entirely? Local legends from Ewenki and Yakut shamans speak of an old tribe who could see the ghosts of the sky, the celestial lights, the stars, the strange shapes that moved above the mountains. They tell of a people who studied the heavens, who watched strange objects in the deep Arctic night. Some elders claim they weren't hunters, but observers. Others say they spoke little and listened always. And in every single myth, they are described as carrying eyes of bone. For decades, archaeologists dismissed these stories as folklore. But that all changed with a discovery in 1997 on the Kolyma River. A collapsed section of frozen earth revealed a hidden shelter, preserved like a time capsule under layers of ice. Inside were all the tools of a lens maker: flint scrapers, stone polishers, bone dust, and a shallow grinding bowl. But the most chilling find was a set of scratches on a flat mammoth rib. There were 3 concentric circles, a pattern of small dots, and a long, sweeping arc crossing the plate from one end to the other. When astrophysicists examined the carving, they were stunned. The pattern looked eerily similar to the apparent motion of the moon during the Arctic winter, when it circles low above the horizon for days without setting. This meant the bone carvers were not just craftspeople. They were observers of celestial motion. But why optics? Why go to such incredible lengths to create lenses? One theory suggests they used them to start fires by concentrating the weak winter sun. Another proposes they magnified the movement of distant animals across the tundra, giving them an unparalleled hunting advantage. But a third theory, one that's quietly discussed but rarely published, suggests they were tracking something in the sky, something unusual. A set of bone discs found near Lake Labinker had small etched lines around their edges, markings that don't match any known counting or measurement system. Some researchers believe they were used as calibration tools. Others whisper something far more radical. They were measuring light itself. And in the ancient world, understanding light meant navigation, orientation, position. It was an early, forgotten science. Then, around 9000 BCE, the tribe disappeared, suddenly without a trace. Their settlements show signs of abrupt abandonment. Tools were left behind. Fires were extinguished. And in some sites, lenses were found placed carefully in rows, as if waiting for their owners to return. Archaeologists have blamed climate change, disease, or migration. But a group of Russian researchers noticed an eerie pattern. All of the known bone carver settlements lie within a narrow latitude band, a band that aligns perfectly with the Arctic auroral oval, a place where the sky itself behaves strangely, where magnetic fields ripple and compasses fail. The shamans say the sky called them. Science has no answer. The most mysterious artifact of all was found just a few years ago, in 2018. It was a nearly perfect biconvex bone lens, polished so finely that it bends light almost like modern glass. Under an electron microscope, scientists found microabrasion patterns that are impossible to reproduce with primitive tools. Impossible. Unless this tribe had techniques we've never rediscovered, or knowledge we wrongly assumed they lacked. Today, all that remains of the bone carvers are these lenses, cold, silent, polished fragments of a forgotten brilliance. But there is one final twist, a detail that was withheld from the early reports. One lens, and only one, was found burned. It had been exposed to intense heat, enough to crystallize the bone. Testing revealed something shocking. This lens could focus light into a single, intensely hot point, a point hot enough to ignite wood. In other words, it wasn't just for seeing. It was a powerful tool, a deliberate invention. And carved into the back of that same lens, almost invisible to the naked eye, were three tiny symbols: a circle, a line, and an eye. This is the same eye symbol used today by Owenki shamans to represent those who watch from far away. Whether that meant the tribe was watching the land, the sky, or something that was watching them, we will never know. But the last surviving Owenki elder who saw the artifact whispered only one thing: they looked deeper than we do. And perhaps that is why they vanished. Not because they were primitive, but because they were advanced. Too advanced to fit into the world that surrounded them. And the ice buried their knowledge long before the rest of humanity ever had a chance to catch up. Thank you so much for watching. If you find these forgotten histories as fascinating as I do, please like this video and subscribe for more journeys into the unknown. We'll see you next time.